Hello and thank you for joining me. My name is Alan and today we're going to be looking at an urban survival kit that is actually useful. Stick with us. So the pouch that I've chosen to use is a Maxpedition. It is a 5x7. It's on Amazon rather at the moment and it's about 15 quid. It's got the hook and loop on it, the idea being that you can attach it to whichever backpack, slingback, whatever that you're going to use. Don't get too tied up with a pouch. At the end of the day, it's the contents that matter and how you utilise them. As you saw, this fits in my cargo pocket quite well. It weighs a fraction over £1 in weight. Let's crack on. So first out, there's an Olight torch. It's one of these clip-on ones. It is rechargeable through USB-C. Again, don't get caught up with the brands. Obviously, if there's a problem, if you're in the tube, you're stuck in the tube, you've got to exit for a tunnel, it's good to have some illumination. Likewise, if you're out and about and there's a problem, you need to be able to see what you're doing. You could, of course, use a head torch that gives you hands-free, but the reason I've used this with the clip is purely for that. I can clip it onto an item of clothing and have some additional illumination. I've got an FFP2 mask in there, and before any of the people start ranting and raving, oh, is you vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're in an urban environment and there's been some sort of incident and there is contaminants or debris in the atmosphere, you want to restrict what you're breathing in. That's what it's for. You could of course use something like a bandana or a head over or a snood, but this will filter better than they will. A couple of plasters and some wound closure strips. At the end of the day, if there is an incident in an urban environment, you're looking at blunt trauma injuries, bruising, breaks, and just potential cuts. This isn't a full-on trauma kit. It's just plasters and some wound closure strips. A mini Sharpie. This one's red because I couldn't find my black one. Doesn't really matter what colour, but loads of uses. There isn't a normal pen in here. It's just a mini Sharpie. The mini Sharpie writes on paper, but in an urban environment, I can write on glass. I can write on the reverse of road signs if I want to leave messages to people that know what I'm likely to be doing. And of course, if need be, I can make notes and I can even write on my arm. Next out, we have a couple of sheets of Write in the Rain paper and another one that has some useful numbers on it that are important to me. If I was unlucky enough to be mugged by some Herbert dressed in black with a balaclava on an e-bike and they managed to liberate my phone and my wallet from me, I have now lost all my contact details because my paper copy is kept in my wallet. So hence a little bit of redundancy, and I've got some numbers written on a piece of paper within this pouch. A 1 litre pour and store bag for water. We'll come back to this. A 4-hour tea light, and again we will come back to this. As you'll notice, it has been lit and blown out because a charred wick is much easier to light than one that hasn't been lit before. A radar key. These keys give you access to disabled toilets that are normally locked. They're usually bigger than a conventional public loo because of wheelchair access, and it just means that you have got the feasibility or the possibility that you can unlock one, go in, and you have access to drinking water and obviously toilet facilities. So a radar key. A very small power bank. This is only 2000 milliamp hours, but there is enough juice in there. It will put my phone to about 20% if it's dying, and it does have built-in leads for Android or, if you're that way inclined, iPhones. But it's just purely because it is very small form factor, but gives me the means to charge up my phone to make perhaps 1 or 2 you know, emergency calls should I need to. Don't forget, all of this kit is in addition to normal EDC. Then we've got in this little bag, we have a Mylar blanket, and I have chosen, as I often do, the olive coloured, olive drab. So it is green on one side, if I can get it out, bear with me. It is green on one side and silver on the other. And there is a reason that I've gone for the green. Although it's going to be in an urban environment, it could be that you need to seek shelter down an alleyway or, you know, underneath a building, in the corner of a building. If you can't get in there, use your imagination. If you're using just a silver Mylar blanket, it will reflect any light that's there and make you visible. By having the green one, it's more subdued and you're going to be much harder to see. So if you have to shelter, you can wrap this around you, sit in a crouch position back against a wall or a bin or whatever it may be, put the candle between your legs, light it and enclose yourself in the blanket. Make sure you don't set fire to your conkers, but this will rapidly increase the temperature within the Mylar blanket and give you an element of warmth. And of course, although it's an urban environment, there are open and green spaces. So if you're moving between areas, you might decide that a good place to actually sit is in the middle of a roundabout. If it's, you know, if there's grass and bushes, you can get amongst that. You're not really going to have pedestrians to worry about then. Then the last thing out is this little rough enough pouch. I've had it for ages. As I say, don't get tied up with the manufacturers. You can get little pouches like this for coins, purses, for about £4 on Amazon. So use something that is affordable and that's going to suit you. There is nothing else in that pouch. So moving into this one, there is a bit lighter because although it's an urban environment and not wilderness survival, there is still the potential that you're going to need a flame, ideally to light that candle that I showed you. A small UK legal multi-tool. This is made by Next Tool. I own the Gerber Dime, the Splice, I think it is, and one of the others. I own 3 small Gerber multi-tools, and this beats them hands down, and it's 20 odd quid. It has pliers, a very, very capable pair of scissors. Make sure if you're using them that the bulk, the main part of the handle is down, and you do the scissoring action with the thin part, and then this will cut easily. Paracord, no problem. If you try and do it upside down, that way round you'll struggle. So it's that way. Small blade, plenty sharp enough. Tin opener and bottle opener. File, flat bladed screwdriver. Phillips screwdriver. Doesn't weigh a great deal, doesn't take up a lot of space, but believe me, this punches well above its own weight. Next, we have this thing. It was originally something that I'd bought some drill bits in, so it's just a plastic storage sleeve that had drill bits in it. I've wrapped 2 foot of 1 inch Gorilla Tape around it and 2 foot of blue electrical tape. The tape can be used for obvious reasons, for taping things up, as a flame extender, should you need it, for repairing things, etc. The electrical tape can also be used as way markers. That's why I've chosen this colour, because it actually stands out. So if you're in an area and you've gone into a building, perhaps it's a derelict building, you don't know where you're going, but you can at least mark where you come in and where you went to. So if you do have to exit quickly, You've got some tape markers in strategic places so you know you're going the right way. That was my train of thought. You might disagree. And then you unscrew it, and then inside is a whistle, because yes, you use these in a wilderness survival kit, but everyone should have a whistle even in an urban environment. Something happens and you're trapped in a building, blow the whistle. Much easier to get attention than to be screaming and hollering. If you're injured, exactly the same thing. Getting people's attention, the same thing. So do not dismiss carrying a whistle. It doesn't take up a lot of space, doesn't weigh a lot, but could literally save your life. And the other thing that I've got in there is just a small safety pin. And that fits within the tube. As I say, this originally had drill bits in it. And then it literally just screws on there, and it's just one little packet that's quite easy to carry. Next out, we've got some meds. This one is 10 water purification tablets, and I've just put the dosage on there, which is 1 per litre of water, wait 30 minutes. As I say, there are 10 tablets, so I can treat 10 litres of water. In this one, there's 4 paracetamol, and I've just put the dosage, that is 2 every 4 hours. So painkillers. This one is anti-diarrhea treatment. There are 6 tablets in here, which is the maximum you are supposed to take. Basically, when you get the trots, you take 2. Then you take another 2 after every episode, so to speak, but only up to that maximum of 6. And there is a reason, for, other than the obvious of getting trots, that I carry these. It's a little bit like if you carry a knife, you should carry a cuts kit. If you carry the means to purify water, which I am with the Puritabs, then I believe that you should then carry some anti-diarrhea. And the reason I'm saying that is that if you've not been meticulous when you've actually bled the bottle open, which we'll explain in a minute, or you've been unlucky enough that you have got a contaminant within you and it gives you the squits, then it's a downward spiral, isn't it? Because if you're dehydrated and then you're being sick, or you've got the trots, you're going to get more dehydrated. So that's why I carry the anti-diarrhea treatment. And to go with that is a single diarylyte. So that's essential salts and vitamins and minerals. So if you are dehydrated, you can add this to water and it will help you get over a bad time. Then we have one S-hook. I've done videos showing these before, which was in an urban security video. But basically, if you enter a building and you're not sure and you don't want to get locked in, once you open it, you just place that over the hinge, either at the top or the bottom, and that will actually prevent the door closing on you. Then we have one compressed towelette and a silicone band. And I'm now going to show you a brief video. There's no commentary as such, it's self-explanatory on how to use that. Bearing in mind that in an urban environment, there is always litter about, so it's quite easy to find a drinks bottle. Bear in mind that a purification tablet, is for 1 litre. A lot of drinks bottles are 500 ml, 600 ml, so it can make life difficult. You decant the water into this pour and store bag until it's up to 1 litre. There are the markings on the bag. Then you put 1 purification tablet in there, leave it 30 minutes, and then you're good to go. And then finally, there is a sewing machine bobbin with 15 foot of nano cord on it. So there's cordage. And I've tied a magnet on the end. And this is used to retrieve items that I may be unfortunate enough to drop. Watch this video. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Give us one of them and I'd love to read your comments. Is there anything that you would add to that kit? Is there anything that you thought was pointless and you would take out of that kit? I'd love to read your comments. Take care. See you soon.